Today, we're continuing our Resort Spotlight series with one of the most iconic resorts at Walt Disney World, Disney's Contemporary Resort. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to the Parks podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, July 19th, and you're listening to episode 149, Resort Spotlight, Disney's Contemporary Resort. I always find that hard to say, contemporary.
And then the word resort afterwards. Yeah, contemporary.
Before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. It's actually a pretty light news week this week. Disney announced the opening date for the remaining offerings in the new Walt Disney Studios area of Hollywood Studios. So that's the Magic of Disney Animation. That's the name of the building. That is officially going to open to all guests on September 14th. That's actually inside the building that replaced Star Wars Launch Bay, right? The one with the Mickey Sorcerer hat. There is going to be a short film, a Drawn to Wonderland player area inspired by Alice in Wonderland, meet and greets with Rapunzel, Mulan, Chip and Dale, Donald and Daisy, Goofy, and Stitch. And then you'll also have the Olaf Draws experience, which is going to be like a Animation Academy type experience where an animatronic Olaf is going to lead you through essentially drawing a Disney character. And my understanding is there's going to be recordings of actual Disney animators kind of helping that along. I will literally be missing this by a day. I leave on September 13th. So I'm actually hoping that there's going to be annual pass holder previews in the days leading up to that. But if not, it's not that big of a deal because obviously we're going back as a family in October. October 10th is when we get there. So I'll see it then if nothing else. So make sure to check that out if you've also got a fall trip coming up soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So in Christmas news, tickets went on sale to all guests on July 16th for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood Nights over at Hollywood Studios. They opened on July 9th for the guests with resort reservations. If you plan on attending either event and you already know that you're going to be there, we would definitely recommend that you buy your tickets sooner rather than later. They will be around for a while, but they're going to sell out as time wears on, and you just don't want to miss out on those parties, especially Mickey's Very Merry.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's the thing. I think it's going to be some time before they do sell out, but you don't want to have the situation where, you waited, and then it sells out and then you're like, oh no, my dates, right?
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. And for us, not a whole lot is new this week. We saw the new Moana movie last night, and we actually thought it was pretty good. It's essentially like the exact same storyline as the animated version, but we do like the original, so we thought it was pretty good. The kids enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it is also Oliver's birthday today. He is 35.
That's right, it is. Yep.
Yeah. Birthdays, we just, what did we do? We kind of hung out, relaxed a little bit this morning.
Yep.
And
it's been a pretty low-key day. We took the kids to the park,
yeah,
grab some iced coffees this afternoon. Yeah, we'll have dinner and some cake here right away.
Happy birthday, Oliver.
Yeah, we think we might, Caleb and I have been reading the Harry Potter books. We finished Order of the Phoenix semi-recently, so we think we might watch that as a family this evening.
There you go.
I do love the Harry Potter movies, so that sounds like a good birthday evening to me.
I agree.
With that said, let's get into today's main topic, which will be a resort spotlight of Disney's Contemporary Resort. So this is one of the original resorts and one of the most iconic resorts, I would say, on all of Disney property. If you've ever been to Magic Kingdom, you've definitely seen that prominent A-frame building just beyond Space Mountain, right? And the not so far distance, you can see it from the park, which, that's not true for any other resort, really.
True, yeah.
It is the resort that is physically closest to Magic Kingdom, and I think that's one of the biggest pros for a lot of folks, right? It's basically sandwiched right between the Transportation and Ticket Center, right, or TTC, and Magic Kingdom. It does have the monorail running right through it, so obviously it's on the resort's monorail loop, right? It literally goes right through, and it opened its doors way back in October of 1971 at the same time as Magic Kingdom.
There have been updates and additions since that time. So in 1973, the South Garden Wing was added. The Convention Center opened in 1991, and Bay Lake Tower opened in August of 2009, which replaced the North Garden Wing completely. Bay Lake Tower came with its own pool and the Top of the World Lounge for DVC members. And of course, there have been some changes within the resort as well during that time. Most recently, the Incredibles theming, like the movie The Incredibles theming, added to the guest rooms in 2021.
Yeah, that's right. And then in terms of theming, Disney calls it a, quote, ultra modern retreat. And honestly, to us, like it does feel modern in a sense, but more like in a Tomorrowland kind of way,
yes,
right? That it was
futuristic.
Yeah, it was probably like, modern back in 1971, but today feels, I would say, more nostalgic than modern, right? In the same way that Tomorrowland does, at least to us, right?
Yeah.
The resort has three main buildings, which are the main A-frame, right? That's the most iconic of the buildings, which that's the one with the monorail running through it, right? Then you also have the Garden Wing and then Bay Lake Tower. It's a pretty compact resort overall, right? Which is another big pro for the resort. The outside of the building is like gray and very concrete looking, right? But the inside of the lobby is just like massive. It opens up to like, several stories high. And like I keep saying, it has that monorail running through it. And I think that's one of its main features. That's what I think of every time I think of the Contemporary.
Oh,
and
me
then
too.
on the one end, they have floor to ceiling windows. So it's really like bright and there's a lot of natural light coming in, which is awesome. And then those floors that open up from that big cavernous space essentially is the hallways that leads to the guest rooms. There are also skylights at the very top that also let in more natural light. So yeah, I would say it's just a very impressive space for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of layouts, like Oliver said, the main building is that iconic A-frame building. The check-in desks are actually on the lower level, not on the floor where most of the action is. The entrance has a porte cochere, where your Uber or Mears Connect or however you're getting to the resort, that's where you're going to be dropped off essentially. And then when you walk into the lower level lobby, it does feel contemporary, no pun intended. The floor is a tan-colored tile. The check-in desks are on your left, and on your right is Contemporary Grounds, which is the grab and go that serves Joffrey's coffee. In the middle of the space, there's some seating and a kids' waiting area with blue carpet and Mary Blair artwork on the walls, which just gives it a really nice pop of color.
For sure. Yep.
And then further down is Steakhouse 71, which is one of the table service restaurants at this resort.
Yeah, that's right. And then up on the second floor from there, you have some banquet and meeting rooms, which are, used for meetings and special events and that kind of thing. And it's also the entrance to the convention center, which is right next door. This is also the floor where you're actually going to check in and board the elevator if you're dining at California Grill, which is on the top floor of the 15th floor, right? This is another one of the table service restaurants at the resort. We'll get to that in just a minute. And up from there, you come to the Grand Canyon Concourse. Okay, so this is the area that most people think of when they think of the Contemporary, right? If you Google Contemporary Resort images, this is what you're going to see. Yeah. Okay, so this is a massive atrium space with just tons of natural light, like I was saying, right? One of the main things in this space that draws the eye are those massive floor-to-ceiling murals. And these were designed by legendary Disney artist Mary Blair, which, yeah, these are super impressive. And they're like several stories high. So they're really something.
Yeah, they are.
You've also got BVG in here, which stands for Bayview Gifts. It's a merchandise location. It's actually like a massive store, and it has
huge.
Oh yeah, it has apparel, houseware, accessories, resort merch, among several other items. I'd say it's one of the bigger resort stores of the Disney resorts.
I would agree with that completely.
Yeah.
And then next to this, right in the middle of the space, is Fantasia, which is the merchandise store, more centered on toys, games, plushes, and it's really much more appealing to kids for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
And then down near the back of the space is Fantasia Market, which is the convenience shop for those essentials and some grocery type items. Yep. You also have a game station, which is the arcade. This is also where the security screening area is located if you are taking the monorail, which is up one more floor from here, but security is actually down on this floor.
That's right. And then there's an escalator that leads you up to where you take the monorail.
And you have to go through security to get on the monorail from outside. Yeah,
which is nice because then you don't have to go through again when you get to Magic Kingdom.
That's true. That's a big bonus. Same with Epcot.
Yep.
And then on the other side of the Grand Canyon Concourse, with the Mary Blair murals splitting the middle, you have Contempo Cafe, which is the main quick service location at this resort, and Chef Mickey's, which is another table service location, and Outer Rim, which is a lounge. The upper floors from here house the guest rooms.
Yeah, that's right. And then back down to the lower level and heading out the back of the resort. If you take a hard left, you're going to see Bay Lake Tower, right? It's sitting right there. This is the DVC tower that opened in 2009, like we said. It does have its own lobby. It's it's nowhere near as grand as the main A-frame lobby, right? But it's sleek and modern. It has like white floors and big floor-to-ceiling windows, and it does let in lots of natural light, so it is a nice space. And there's also that covered bridge that connects the 5th floor of Bay Lake Tower to the Grand Canyon Concourse over on the main building, which is nice. It is nice. It's connected that way. It's raining cats and dogs, right? You can take that and never essentially step foot outside. The back of the resort is very quiet and relaxed, and you also have the Bay Lake pool back there as well. It is smaller than the main pool, but the slide is actually bigger, and it does have a splash pad for the littles. And then back over near the back of the main A-frame building, there is a beach area with white sand and chairs. There's no swimming, obviously, but it is still a nice area. And then you also have the marina here where you can take boats, and you can also rent pontoons and things like that as well.
Yeah, that's right. And then next to the marina, you have the Bay Pool, which is a leisure pool. There's another beach that splits this pool area with the main pool area, which also has a slide. And then on the opposite side of the main tower from Bay Lake Tower is the garden wing. These are in separate low-rise buildings that feel more residential, actually. They kind of give the vibes, too, about the Coronado. Because you got the tower.
Yeah.
And then the
yeah, that's a good way.
Casitas or whatever you call them there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like I said, they have a little bit of that more residential feel. Rooms tend to be a little bit less expensive here as well in those rooms, but with all the same amenities. So it's actually a really good option for more budget-conscious guests looking to stay at the Contemporary. And then with that, let's get into the room categories. We know there was a push from Disney to streamline their room categories, but this resort still has a ton. And to be fair, that's also because of Bay Lake Tower and the garden wing rooms. So there's a lot, but we'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Of the categories of rooms, you have the main A-frame tower rooms, the garden wing rooms, the club level rooms, the studios and villas over at Bay Lake Tower.
Yeah, that's right. So for the main tower, you have 2 view options. So either theme park view or water view. These rooms have either 1 king bed and 1 day bed or 2 queen beds and 1 day bed, and they sleep up to 5 adults. They include a beverage cooler, right, like most other Disney resort rooms, a coffee and tea station, and a patio or balcony. Again, that depends on which floor you're on. These rooms are, like we were saying, Incredibles themed, right? Which to me is awesome. The bathrooms are sleek looking and are mostly white with double sinks, a nice shower with glass doors, and some storage for your personal items. And then the toilet is actually separated by a pocket door, which is actually really nice because you could have somebody, using the washroom while somebody else is getting ready, which is good for families.
Yes.
There's a closet in the entrance as well. The back wall looks like the Incredibles super stoots hanging. So I think that's actually super cute. And then, of course, there's the coffee nook with a coffee maker, a beverage cooler, and some shelving. The floor has that faux wood coloring, right, with an Incredibles themed area rug. The couch is red, and that gives the room a nice pop of color as well. And then, of course, there's a mounted TV on the wall. And yeah, like we were saying, that patio and balcony. In the room, there's also Incredibles themed cushions right on the bed. And there's artwork throughout the room as well, it just makes it fun, right? Mm-hmm. These rooms start around $800 a night, right? And then theme park view, unfortunately, goes up to nearly $1,000 a night, which is, super, super expensive.
Absolutely. In the garden wing, you have water view and resort view rooms. So these have 2 queen beds and 1 day bed and sleep up to 5 adults. They also include a beverage cooler, coffee and tea station. These essentially have the same theming and layout as the main A-frame rooms, but they are less expensive, both coming in between $600 and $700 a night. You also have king rooms that have 1 king bed and 1 day bed, and that can sleep up to 3 adults. And then lastly, you have the deluxe rooms, which are larger than the resort and water view rooms. They have a king bed and a day bed and sleep up to 3 with identical theming to the other rooms. Then you also have the club level rooms. So these are the resort and theme park view rooms, same as the standard rooms, but they do have club access. So that's really the only difference with those rooms with everything else.
That's right.
You also have king rooms with resort view. So these have a darker tone than the other rooms with Edna mode theming, which is also super fun. We love Edna.
Yep.
You also have garden wing 1 bedroom suites, theme park view 1 or 2 bedroom suites, water view 1 or 2 bedroom suites, and then the presidential suite. The club level rooms start at $1,100 a night, and then the suites start around $1,600 a night, and they only go up from there during the busier seasons. All of them have Incredibles theming as well, with different colors than the standard rooms with pops of yellow, and we actually just think they look really, really good.
Yeah, agreed. We know some people didn't love the Incredibles retheme. This was back in 2021, but we actually find it fun and fresh, and I think it looks awesome.
Incredibles is a good movie.
I do love that movie, yeah. And on the Bay Lake Tower side, for the studios, you have resort preferred and theme park view rooms. Resort view gives you views of the parking area or obstructed views. The preferred view is views of Bay Lake, and then the theme park view is self-explanatory. The rooms feature 1 queen bed and those new, I think they're several years old now, but those Murphy beds, right? Like most of the other studios on property. They sleep up to 4 adults and include a kitchenette with a small fridge, a microwave, a sink, which is awesome. And then they also have a balcony or patio, depending what floor you're on. The rooms received a refurbishment very recently over at Bay Lake, and they look really good in our opinion. They feel bright and airy with just natural wood accents and pops of color. The artwork on the walls here and the Murphy bed, the backing of the Murphy beds always have some artwork, are not Incredibles themes. So it's all resort themes. So it's the main A-frame contemporary, but in art form, right? With fun colors, and then also Cinderella Castle and primary colors like reds and blues and yellows. So it gives everything a nice pop. The layout is similar to other studios, right? So washroom, kitchenette, bed, Murphy bed, a TV stand that doubles as a dresser, and then storage space, right? And then, of course, you have that small seating area on the balcony or patio, depending what you've got. And these start at around $800 a night.
Yeah, that's right. And then you also have the one-bedroom villas with theme park, preferred, or resort view. These have one king bed, one queen-size sleeper sofa, and one twin-size sleeper chair. They sleep up to 5 adults and include 2 full bathrooms, a full kitchen, living and dining room areas, washer and dryer, and a balcony. These start around $1,100 a night. And then the 2-bedroom villas also have theme park, preferred, or resort view and feature one king bed, 2 queen beds, one queen-size sleeper sofa, and one twin-size sleeper chair. This sleeps up to 9 adults and includes 3 full bathrooms, full kitchen, living and dining room area, washer, dryer, and a balcony. These are going to start around $1,700 a night. And then last but not least, the 3-bedroom grand villas have either preferred or theme park views. These feature one king bed, 4 queen beds, and one double-size pull-down bed. So this sleeps up to 12 adults and includes 4 full bathrooms, full kitchen, living and dining room area, washer, dryer, and a balcony. These are they're starting at a whopping $3,000 a night
on average. Yeah. So no shortage of room options here, right? That's for sure. It gives you a lot to consider, if nothing else. And while prices are pretty high, there is a bit of a range there, right? Starting with those like standard view garden wing rooms, which are, I don't even want to say affordable because it's still like $600 a night, but more so than these rooms, right? Like these suites.
$3,000 a night. Yes, more so.
Yeah, so we'll call it affordable on that scale. And next up, let's talk dining. So Deluxe Resort means usually more dining options, right? And there are several here. So starting on the ground floor, you have Steakhouse 71. It was named for the year that the resort and Magic Kingdom first opened, right? The restaurant is elegant, but not in a stuffy way, right? It's actually pretty casual in here. The walls are a cream color and there's pops of color just with the artwork highlighting like the parks and the Disney family. The tables are white with blue and yellow chairs and booths. The carpet is blue and white with a fun motif. It is nice in here. Like it's nothing extravagant or fancy, but it feels comfortable. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For breakfast, they do a breakfast burger, a classic American breakfast, Eggs Benedict, Walt's prime rib hash, Steakhouse 71 seasonal pancakes, steak and eggs, among several other options. For lunch, they have a pan-seared salmon, a prime rib sandwich, the hugely popular stack burger, which I've actually had a couple of times, and I can confirm that it is delicious, among several other options. And then for dinner, it truly does become a steakhouse with several surf and turf options, and then, of course, several cuts of steak, right?
Yeah.
And it's not on the menu, but they will make the stack burger for you if you ask. So
good little tip there.
Yeah, pro tip there.
And then there is also the Steakhouse 71 Lounge. This has a smaller menu, but it does have some of the items from the restaurant next door, including that famous stack burger. And, of course, a good selection of cocktails, beers, wine, and pretty much anything you could want. And still on the ground floor, you have Contemporary Grounds. This is essentially a coffee grab-and-go location. It has gourmet coffees, iced tea, hot chocolate smoothies, and assorted baked goods. It actually opens at 5:30 a.m., which is amazing.
Yeah, awesome.
That's probably the earliest I've ever seen a grab and go location open.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the best time ever because no matter how early you're heading to the parks, you can always grab a coffee here. Like that is so ideal. Yep. Major brownie points for that alone.
For sure. Because if you're rope dropping like Animal Kingdom, for example.
5:30 coffee? Oh.
Well, that's the thing because Animal Kingdom typically opens at 8, right?
Yeah.
So early entry is 7:30. So if you're taking that bus like close to 6:30, it's nice that you can grab a coffee before you go.
And then upstairs on the Grand Canyon concourse level, you have Chef Mickey's. This is an all-you-care-to-enjoy character breakfast or dinner buffet. It features American cuisine. The breakfast has your standard breakfast options, including Mickey waffles, of course. And dinner has a ton of options that's going to appeal to most folks. During your meal, you'll actually get to do meet and greets with Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Pluto, and Goofy. So those Pluto and Goofy aren't always around. So those are fun ones. Yeah,
for sure. And then right next to that is Contempo Cafe, which is the main quick service location at the resort. It's open daily from 6:30 a.m. to 11 p.m., which again, 6:30 a.m. is a good start time for a major quick service. A lot of them open at 7 a.m. Breakfast options include the Bounty breakfast platter, the loaded tacho bowls, Mickey-shaped waffles, and then several croissant sandwiches. They also have oatmeal, yogurts, bakery items, and several other grab-and-go options as well. Lunch features several sandwich options, chicken strips, flatbreads, salads, and plenty of grab-and-go and bakery options, right? Your standard kind of quick service stuff.
Yeah.
And then dinner has many of the same options, but they do offer rice bowls as well, which is a good option just to have for dinner. And the bakery actually will sometimes get, I would say, destination-worthy options, right? Like that you might come out of your way for.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it is a solid quick service location if you're staying here, but no reason to come, to the Contemporary just to eat there.
Agreed. And then on the other side of Chef's Mickey is Outer Rim, which is a lounge that overlooks Bay Lake. It's open daily from 11 a.m. to midnight. There's actually no food here, but they do have a wide selection of cocktails, beers, and wine. And then way up on that 15th floor, you have California Grill. This is a beautiful signature restaurant with sweeping views of Seven Seas Lagoon and Magic Kingdom. It actually has one of the best fireworks dining experiences at Walt Disney World. So when it's fireworks time at Magic Kingdom, they're going to dim the lights and the music is piped into the restaurant. So like the music that people are hearing in Magic Kingdom.
Happily Ever After, yeah.
Which is super awesome. That's a great way to dine, in my opinion.
Yep.
If you've dined earlier than the fireworks time, you can actually come back just to watch the fireworks. There is a viewing area reserved for guests who dine there the same night, which is so awesome. The restaurant itself has multicolored carpets, natural wood-colored chairs, and the tables are topped with white tablecloths, and there's nice light fixtures in the space as well. There are nicer restaurants at Walt Disney World, but few have these views, honestly.
For sure. Yep.
And there are windows all along the outside of the restaurant that just give you these absolutely amazing views, especially at night when everything's starting to get lit up, right?
For sure,
so
absolutely.
Fun.
Oh, beautiful. Like you can see, the blue hues from Space Mountain and the castle.
The castle lit up is just amazing.
For sure. This is a 3-course prefix meal. That's $99 per adult and $42 per child, right? So it's definitely an expensive meal. For appetizers, you have the Sonoma goat cheese ravioli, which is hugely popular and it is delicious. The organic mixed mushroom ragu, the surf and turf roll, Dungeness crab salad, a seasonal flatbread, a fire-roasted artichoke flatbread, a spicy Kazan roll, or hearth-steamed saffron mussels. For entrees, you have the oak-grilled fillet of beef, grilled pork tenderloin, pan-roasted carrot gnocchi, Wagyu strip loin, domestic lamb, or seared market fish. And then for dessert, you have the celebration of citrus, the blueberry goat cheese cheesecake, or the vanilla bean creme brulee. Phenomenal menu. Definitely a splurge for sure, but we definitely think it's worth doing at least once, if nothing else, for those great views. But you will definitely have a great meal here as well.
I agree. I don't think I would take the kids there at the age they're at, especially for $42 per kid.
When they're older, for sure.
But when they're older, like late teens or whatever, I would totally take them
where they
there.
can actually enjoy the views and the meal like thoroughly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And last but not least, you have the pool bars. So behind the main A-frame building, you have the Sand Bar, which is sandwiched right between the marina and the main pool. It's open daily from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. They have a small menu that includes a quarter-pound burger, a chicken bacon ranch sandwich, a shrimp basket, an all-beef hot dog, chicken quesadillas, Cuban sandwich, and a Mediterranean salad. They also have frozen treats, so think like Mickey bars, that kind of thing, and some beverages. It's a good place to snack while you're kind of enjoying some pool time.
Yeah, that's right. And then if you are staying at Bay Lake, they also have a pool bar called the Cove Bar. It's also open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and serves a selection of frozen alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks, along with several beer and wine options. So yeah, there's lots of options here. Everything from a really nice early start, quick coffee to fine dining.
Yeah, for sure. No shortage of options. Yep.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And next up, let's talk pools and recreation. So we touched on it briefly, but you do have 3 pools at the resort. The main pool is called the feature pool, which is funny because pool areas usually have a distinctive name, but this is just feature pool.
The feature pool, yeah, exactly.
It's a decent sized pool and it is heated for those chillier days, which is actually nice because it can get kind of cool in January and February, December.
Yep.
And it features a 17-foot high, 131-foot curving water slide. There's a play area for the younger kids that features fountains and water spouts, and it has 2 whirlpool spas as well. Not far from that is the Bay Lake Pool, which is a leisure pool, and Disney actually says that loud noises and splashing are gently discouraged here, which isn't the case at some of the other resorts.
I find the wording, I saw that on the website and I wrote it down because I find that interesting because most other leisure pools on property don't have anything like that written. So just
this
interesting.
One's for the people that don't want to be around kids. I get it.
Yeah.
And then last but not least is the Bay Cove Pool, which actually features a 148-foot long water slide and a zero-depth entry overlooking Bay Lake. There is also a whirlpool spa here as well, and then a play area for the younger kids with bubbling geysers, which is fun.
Yep, exactly. And then for other activities, of course, you have Movies Under the Stars, right? That's at 8:30 p.m. currently on the Contemporary Courtyard. On Tuesdays, it's Mulan. Thursdays is Toy Story 2, and Saturdays is Parent Trap. There's nightly campfires at the campfire pit between the A-Frame Tower and the Bay Lake Tower. Right now, that's between 6:30 and 7:30 p.m., but obviously that may float later, right, with the later summer days. They have free marshmallows and s'more skit for free. There are poolside activities at the Feature Pool and the Bay Cove Pool. So both of them on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. That's at 1:30 p.m. And the Feature Pool also does Mondays and Fridays at 2 p.m. There's a silent disco also at the Contemporary Courtyard. This is on Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:15 to 9:15 p.m. And then outside of Community Hall at Bay Lake Tower, you can create your own slime, whatever that means, on Sundays from 4 to 5 p.m. And then you can also make Mickey tie-dyes, which is the case at most Disney resorts. This is on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, also from 4 to 5 p.m. You can make your own mosaics inspired by artwork by none other than Mary Blair. That's near the marina on Sundays, Mondays, Fridays between 1 and 3 p.m. And then, of course, you have the fitness center on the third floor. This is actually named the Olympiad Fitness Center. There's also basketball, tennis, and pickleball courts. And they actually do a pickleball clinic on Wednesdays from 9 to 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's right. And then outside of that, you have cabana rentals and motorized boat rentals, fireworks cruises, fishing, running and walking trails, and to cap it all off, the electrical water pageant comes by every evening.
Mm-hmm.
And as we always say, there is always something going on at your Disney resort. Times will change seasonally, so check with the front counter at the resort when you arrive. This will also often be posted on a board in the lobby. And then failing all of this, the information will always be on the Walt Disney World website or the My Disney Experience app. Next up, location and transportation. So like we said earlier, it's on the Seven Seas Lagoon and quite literally steps from Magic Kingdom. So you can definitely walk there.
You should walk there.
You should walk there instead of waiting for the monorail. If you prefer, you can take the monorail because you are on the monorail loop, but you will have to go to the TTC, the Poly, which is the Polynesian Resort, Grand Floridian, and then to Magic Kingdom. So it is not a straight shot to Magic Kingdom.
It only loops one way, which
even
is
though
clockwise.
you're right next to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are, if you can, it is faster to walk in our opinion.
Absolutely.
So yeah, coming home, you are the first stop on the resort loop. So that is nice if you want to save your feet after a long park day. And then to get to Epcot, you do take the monorail, one stop over to the TTC. You'll get off and then you're going to board the Epcot monorail. Super easy peasy. It's well marked and there's cast members all over the place.
Absolutely.
And then it's buses to Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, and Disney Springs. Given the size of the resort, there only is one bus stop, and that is just outside the main doors of the lobby.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And then, like Lucy's saying, right, in terms of location, this is literally the closest resort to Magic Kingdom. So if that's important to you, like you literally cannot get any closer, right? So it's a prime location for that reason alone. And on that note, pros and cons. So biggest pro, in our opinion, it's not even close, right, is that it steps from Magic Kingdom. You have some pretty solid dining options. Steakhouse 71 is great. We've been there a few times. We love it. California Grill is also great. And Shift Mickey's is a fun character meal, especially for young families, I would say. And on that note, if you've got little ones and plan to spend a lot of time at Magic Kingdom and you want to be able to get back to your resort quickly, there's literally no better place to stay, right? Because you can, put them in a stroller and walk back super quick or get on that monorail loop and it's the next stop over.
So true. Plus,
the Garden Wing rooms do give you a slightly more budget-friendly option, like I was saying earlier, right? Slightly being the key word here, because they, by Deluxe Resort prices on the monorail loop, they are on the lower end.
Yes.
For cons, the resort is not for everyone, right? It's not overly Disney, even though it is a classic. It can feel a bit sterile, right? It's not like, I would say it's not as warm or inviting as some of the other resorts on property. Think like Polynesian, right? Which feels very like vacation-like.
Yes,
it's very
it does.
inviting. It's like warm colors. But Contemporary is very like concrete and like, convention-y almost.
That's a good word, convention-y.
Yeah. But, having said that, I do think that the Incredibles themed rooms do make up for that theming a little bit.
Yes, because that's very Disney, Pixar, whatever.
Yeah. And outside of the Garden Wing rooms, these are some of the most expensive rooms on all of Disney property, right? And the pool area, I would say, is not as good as some of the other deluxe resorts. So
I would agree.
That would fall, I think, into the con category. Even though it's still good, it's still not as good.
Yeah, for sure. And as always, we are going to leave you with our final thoughts. We like the Contemporary. There's a lot to like about it, location being obviously one of the top reasons, but it is probably our least favorite resorts on that monorail loop, those monorail resorts, with Poly being our absolute favorite, then Grand Flow, and then Contemporary. We just like the vibes and the theming a little bit more at the other monorail resorts, but don't take that to mean that this is a bad resort because it's not at all.
Agreed.
It's a very popular resort.
Yeah.
And we can easily recommend a stay here, especially like Oliver said, that if staying close to Magic Kingdom is high on your priority list. Plus, the Incredibles rooms are great in our opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. The kids do like the Incredibles, so I think
they
would get a good kick out of that. They've never stayed at these rooms. So with that said, thank you for joining us today to talk Disney's Contemporary Resort. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you could leave us a rating and review, it would be greatly appreciated. If you choose to do so, you can leave reviews right on Apple Podcasts, and for Spotify, you can leave a rating.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at letsgo.totheparks, as well as on our Facebook page, Let's Go to the Parks. We share some helpful reels here as well as some fun ones. The link tree in the show notes will take you to all of our socials.
Have a great day, and we'll see you real soon.